board is eyeing Graham Potter. Is that going to be the right man at Manchester United? Is the question that will be coming right through into the show right there. Owen Izaga is my name, and of course I have Linda Susie that we shall be discussing right here with today, probably weekend. We started out as today is Saturday, and we're trying to wrap up every other single that all the sporting discipline that is right there. What about in order that was put by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to say that of course Kibwa needs to be one of the stadiums to host AFCON 2020 right there. So good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Owen. Thank you so much for the reference. Good afternoon. We are here already to take you through with the day. Susie is my name, like the other said. A lot is actually taking place within Uganda. The inspection over Kibwa was one of the biggest that, of course, we had. I should say it's some good news for the northern people. That could be possibly the second time that Kibwa will be built, and this time it looks very real that actually it's going to be built there. And then there was a letter that came in from FUFA saying that Ndeje Football Club and of course Aurora Hill soccer club players are now free agents, and they can go into of course there is any other club of their choice, but for Ndeje they were all labeled free to join any other club of their choice. But for Aurora Hill Soccer Club, there were stances over how they are supposed to join. Unless your contract ends, you can join. But if you still have a contract running with Aurora Hill, it is said that you join another club of your choice of loan until the end of the season. And joining comes through an amicable argument between you and probably maybe a few of the stakeholders of there is the club. And then another interesting bit is that there is a stiff competition that I have seen in Uganda UPL table standings, and also Bed Power Big League table standings. In between the top three or the top four, there is a very stiff competition. You will see that the point gap is 2-1-2, so meaning the two leagues have become quite very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. You would love to see about now, of course, the shifted to in winners game for the encounter two by 1-0 Ginger North, and that means that the team had everything possible to see that they really needed to put right there. Let's start with the Calvary team itself. They seem rejuvenated after getting an away win. Of course, got a win. They have started their season very well and making sure that 2 games, 2 wins, there's 6 points to their names.
Calvary, of course, went past there is a Junior North United. Basically, I think because they are on an upper hand, they have been vivid, they have been doing training, they have been participating in 2 leagues. There is a start with Uganda Cup, and also at the same time Bed Power Big League. And this time around, if you look at their positions with the team that they played yesterday, Calvary now comes to position number 9 with 20 points, the same as on Football Club. And Ginger, that they played actually is down into there is the relegation zone, sitting in position number 13 with also 13 points down there. And basically I think this in every other thing wise completely says that Calvary is a better side compared to Ginger North United that actually have been outplayed and were able to go past them. There is yesterday, much as it was an away game, I looked at Calvary basically suffering, I was about to say fatigue, but of course they had some time period of rest from the other time that they lost and all that. So basically Calvary going in there and going past there is a Ginger North and picking an away win is, by the way, very, very vital, especially in a big league. So basically that propels them and lifts them a little bit up, and it saves them in that danger zone that actually they have been sinking into slowly by slowly. But if they take on this, and if this is a fuel to gear them up and to make them get in a better position. Probably it could be that they need now to be consistent, because if you look at Calvary is one team in big league that actually is not consistent. Calvary will win a game today and lose maybe the next two, and then draw another game and all that, and then you also find them coming back to winning ways after maybe a couple of games. So basically, if they maintain the consistency, trust me, it's not yet too late for Calvary to finish in a better position in the season over big league.
Yeah, it's a very big one. Of course, if you look at the table standings of the bet power for big league, you would see that they are really doing well. Of course, it's a goal difference that is probably separating them with the team of Onduparaka Football Club, and of course other teams are right there. But of course, an outstanding performer for them. I believe putting this into consideration is one big thing that you should be looking into, because a couple of teams probably push here and there. Now look at the team of Police that lost, of course, point, that dropped point. Lugazi dropped a point. It gives you an upper hand of how exactly teams are trying so much to see that they push in there. But all in all, you did see teams like Ndeje already being out. That means the teams are going to be around 14 now into the league, and you need to fight hard, because anytime you can get into the relegation, just look at the point differences. It will show you that this is so dangerous right there. I believe teams like Chigeze Homeboys, teams like Chiinda Boys, teams like Blacks Power need a lot also to do. Yes, Blacks Power has been on point, but you see where they are lying right now at 6 point. At number 6, of course, that shows you that Blacks Power and the FUFA Big League, in fact, needs a lot of things that you need to put forward to see that this gets to the right angle and you get yourself right there. So I believe a lot of things, and most of the teams have already played match day 17, where of course you're seeing some teams like Bomana, Onduparaka still having a game at hand to see that they play their game to match the level over the rest of the teams right there. Now, advantage has been given to different clubs that probably have gotten or who are interested, even the regional league clubs who maybe who would love to sign players from the two sides. We did talk about yesterday in length with Benson about Ndeje and Arua Hill. You can sign the players or get them on loan right there. Of course, one of the biggest advantage taken has been by that is the club, Onduparaka Football Club, because they have around 5 names that they are getting from Arua Hill Sports Club, and that shows that this would push them or give them an opportunity to make sure that they push further and get the best out of that is the boys in there. But all in all, I want to leave that there. Big league where we are heading to is becoming so interesting that if you can win games at home, if you can win games away, then you have chances of also making qualification. Just like you said, can Calvary keep pushing? Can they push it consistently? Because there are times you're going to see that Calvary last season even went up to, I think, the top and had to come back, and the top 3 was a good one for them. So it gives you what exactly you need to push. But I always say, don't talk when you have not finished the journey. Finish the journey, then thank God, because you pray always from the start that God help me, I reach this. And when you reach your destination, you need to also thank God for what exactly He has done amidst all the challenges. So all those are some of the things. But Ginger North has been a side that also losing at home has been a rare thing to them. In fact, not rare, but people have been getting wins at their home. So it wasn't by a surprise. Though certain teams lost to them, even Onduparaka lost to Ginger North, and I think it's a very good sign of Calvary going to pick the win and making sure that the heads are up as they are coming back in there. You know, moving out of the league or moving far away from your home ground, getting in the other side and you don't get a point, trust me, it hurts, and it's so challenging. So those are some of the things right there. But of course, a couple of games will be returning in the FUFA Big League on 10th, which is going to be very interesting for you probably to come up and see what exactly comes from that side of the FUFA Big League. Now, when we leave that there, when you look at the start times, Uganda Premier League, there's also another big encounter that probably will be coming on 8th. Now you're going to be seeing the team of the Wachiso Giants taking on, of course, the team of Sports Club Vipers, and this in a very big way. Wachiso had to write to that is the secretariat of UPL, saying that they needed a change of venue and they wanted to use Chitende or St. Mary's Chitende. Vipers will be at home, Wachiso will be away, but in fact Vipers Wakiso will be at home. That means they're going to hire Vipers now. It is going to be between the tenants and the landlords right there. That will be doing it right there. Now, they wrote this before, even when they saw the fixtures. Now, right there is what, of course, the federation and, of course, the league organizers have put. The UPL secretary received a letter from Wachiso Giants FC requesting to change the venue for that is the match against Viper Sports Club, and this is for Wachiso Giants to top in the revenue generated at that is Sports Club Vipers match played at that is Chitende Stadium, as well as the big numbers of fans are of course associated with the night matches in there. According to that is the match day 155 Wachiso Giants versus Vipers. The venue has been of course moved from that is Kabaka Chiabagu Stadium in Wakiso to St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende. Now, that is a statement coming in from the organizers, league organizers. I'm talking about the secretariat in the UPL. This is one thing that we want to talk about because people, I think, are embracing what is called the night football, but of course the playing under floodlights. This is going to be a very big game on 8th, which is going to be a Women's Day. What do you think about this game? About the change of date, about the venue, and Wachiso wanting to use St. Mary's at Vipers?
I think Wachiso has strategized properly because one, look at the date that the game has fallen. It is a public holiday, and so I think they are revenue oriented. I would like to say because they are looking at having most of their funds within there is a Kampala. Moving to there is a Wakiso. Instead, they want to bring it from Wakiso to them at the town center where they can easily access. And then it's also quite very interesting, and people getting in the experience of either playing under floodlights or catching the game live under floodlights. So basically, I think those are the two things that actually our Wakiso Giants looked into. One, bringing the game closer in the heart of the city to the fans that are within there, instead of making them travel the other side. And secondly, I think the biggest there is that they were looking at revenue to this because it has also been stated somehow if you follow in keenly. So basically, I think it's quite a very good one. And I think they also want to allow the players embrace in the floodlights and all that, playing also on floodlights and on a turf, but artificial turf is quite some experience that a few players get and all that. So basically, if it comes to competition and all that, all of the players I think have to get acquainted and all that. So that is why Wachiso is trying to move in this game to there is a St. Mary's Chitende.
Okay, and now that's one big thing that you should be talking about. But let's look about the revenue is going to be there, and of course, Vipers fans that were supposed to travel to Wakiso will be at home, and that is one thing. All the collections, all the revenue will go to Wakiso Giants. That is strategically very, very well. What about game plan and game management? What do you think the results will be? Won't this affect?
This, by the way, the result is going to affect, to me, the result is going to affect Wachiso Giants. Because basically, Vipers are home, that has been them. And it's also, we all know how Vipers fans turn up, especially when they're at St. Mary's. Wachiso might be looking at, the turn up and the revenue, yes. But then, result-wise, trust me, it's going to basically affect Wachiso. And I think this time around, they are not minding about the results. All their focus is, I think, on the revenue bit of it, because results, it's going to be very hard, by the way, for Wachiso Giants to pick a win at against the Vipers at St. Mary's Chitende, home of Vipers, because one, the fan base, yes, they will have both their fans, but trust me, Vipers fans are going to outweigh, or they're going to outnumber the fans of there is a Wachiso Giants in all aspects. So basically, I think Wachiso this time around has only strategized this based on there is the revenue bit of it, because when we are talking about there is the performance, trust me, it's going to be hard. But we've equally seen Vipers being beaten at home. So unless otherwise, we could also be seeing something else. But we've seen Vipers lose lose points at home and all that. So basically, it wouldn't also be a surprise when our Wakiso Giants comes up and surprises the world by actually collecting all the 3 points plus the revenue and going back with it down at their home from St. Mary's Chitende.
I don't see that win coming. Of course, Vipers will be home, knowing that this is home. It is for purposes of making money. We need to disappoint and get the points, and that is one big thing. They're used to their ways of play at that is Chitende. They understand St. Mary's Chitende more than any other. The students will come in big numbers as usual. You will see the fans beat come. People will be lacking. In fact, that's a big day. People will want to be there to with maybe families to see what exactly comes out, to have fun. So that's where you're going to see this coming. And Vipers will have the numbers more than Wakiso Giants, to me. And that is one big thing that will be coming. So I believe it's going to be a tight game, but of course that is what it will be happening right from that is the home of Wakiso Giants to that is St. Mary's Chitende at the homes of Vipers Sports Club right there. Now, when we go away from there and cross over to the biggest thing that is happening in rugby, where of course the URU are trying so much to send 7 players, according to the reports coming right there, for high profile, of course, the high performance program that is going to be taking place in South Africa. They were called in this to see that they get themselves into the training that will be coming in. And the rugby, or the Uganda Rugby Union has been embraced, and of course, very, very happy for that opportunity. And this training will be a very, very big one. Now, some key names have been seconded or mentioned in this. One of them is called Santos Senteza, and not forgetting Ivan Kabangabe, and not forgetting, of course, Faragi Udugo and Elfaz Emong, Brian Tayot, and not forgetting, of course, Sydney Gondayo and Conrad Wanyama. Now, you look at all these names, you could be talking or putting your eyes on that is Emong, who has been a key figure in that is the Uganda Rugby Union team, doing so much into the team, and of course trying to penetrate. Now, the opportunity gets them to go and have a high performance training that will be taking place in South Africa. I think a plus that is because we're looking into how can we improve the rugby in that is the country, and that is one big thing that we are trying to see putting in their Bull. In fact, this is organized by that is Blue Bulls. If you have ever heard about Blue Bulls, for those who follow rugby so much, you would see that this is one of the biggest rugby union or rugby clubs that has been for so long, in that is the South Africa Rugby Union. Now, they have been a very good one, and this time around inviting our own Ugandans to go in there means a very big one. And remember, being the biggest provincial union in that is the South Africa gives this opportunity to our own, who of course very many times you don't see Ugandans organize these such activities here. Now, getting an opportunity to go to South Africa, what does it mean? And this is going to be very soon.
It's actually quite a very good one. Getting partners, that is a plus for, I should say, Uganda Rugby Union, getting into partnership with, of course, the people in South Africa. There is the Blue Bulls. This idea started cooking around last year, November, when there is Willen, the president of the Blue Bulls in there is South Africa, came to visit. There is the Uganda Rugby Union, and that is when he actually looked through and watched these guys play, and thought it wise to actually bring them on board to there is South Africa. And all this deal was completed as there is Wilena Strauss was in Uganda in November last year. But then these boys traveling is quite a very good one, but then the training is expected to, I think, complete mid-June, and then meaning the boys will miss out the ongoing championship rugby, but then the African championship rugby that is also coming around June or July will of course get them around, but they get to miss the ongoing championship there is a rugby. But then going out there to get the training is quite a very good one, meaning after getting in the experience, experiences from South Africa, they can be able to come down to the home ground and be able to share in the experiences with the rest of the players that actually remained on ground to, of course, to strategize and harden them for there is the Africa Rugby Championship games that are coming in there is July.
Now, of course, different players from different clubs probably, that is a very good sign. Cobbs got in at least one. You did see also Ginger Hippos Rugby Club getting one, and names like that is Emong playing for that is the Ginger Hippos. You have the Cobbs Rugby Club Uganda that also had names like of course Odugo and Brian Tayot, who has also been right there, all praising their boys. What about the Heathens? They have also been a very good side, probably pushing in a very, very good way, pushing it every day. And you also do have the team of course, Santos Senteza has also been one key name that has been pushed in right there. So all those have been key names that probably you should be talking about from all the angles. And now when we leave that there, you would say that Uganda has started preparing and pushing its way through to where they feel they need to, of course, get belongings to. If you leave rugby alone, if you see what exactly comes from the angles that you need to know, you would say that there's also a very, very big one. Now, let's leave that there and go to one of the biggest talking points in the world of basketball. Well, of course, a lot is also expected, by the way, from the basketballers. I don't want to leave you behind because it's one of the biggest things that you need to know coming in from there. Now, it was a very good ride for the basketball team called the JK Lady Dolphins. I mean, this, remember, have been one of the big teams in that is the country, and they are the National Basketball League defending champions, who of course had a very good outplay yesterday, 75 to 68, of course being put in the basket, and that is one big one, beating UCU Lady Cardinals. Susie, the basketball has started very well, and very many people are probably pushing in there. Now for us, West Nile, Rua and the rest, we don't know whether our team shall reach there, but this is what is happening already.
The basketball team of Arua, by the way, is having a tournament, and very soon they are joining a tournament in Kampala. We'll bring through, I think, the preparator one of these days. And talking about JK ladies beating, there is a UCU Cannons. This is quite a very huge one for there is the JK ladies, because one, if you look at their previous stats in the meetings between themselves, you'll actually get to see that UCU Cannons have always run past there is the JK ladies, and this time around JK coming through to support there is the UCU Cannons could be a very huge one, and it's actually a very big one for there is the Dolphins, and it's quite a very big experience, because going past there is the UCU Cannons, it has been quite a very hard one for almost all of the basketball teams in Kampala. So this time around, I think the UCU Cannons are losing out a bit of energy because now teams are beating them these days for fun. And if you look at the score lines where teams get to beat the UCU Cannons that have most of the times been champions, it's becoming quite alarming, meaning they need to check themselves in between. But for JK going past UCU, I think it's quite a very good one for there is the JK Dolphins.
Names like Akello, names like Tracy had everything possible to see that things work out, and probably pushing it every day. And now that was one of the biggest thing I loved with them. But when we leave that there, you did also see the Nam Blazers doing the wonders against City Oilers yesterday. Of course, they put an end to that City Oilers unbeaten record. Now Nam Blazers are from Namuongo. Of course, you can call them the Namuongo Blazers, or right there, but they are doing very good, because they have gotten to see that things really need to push still in that netball. So I mean for basketball. So it was a very big one for them. They had 60 nets, 60. They put 60 into the basket. To that is 54 into that is the City Oilers, who got themselves right there. So Nam Blazers have registered this one for this season, and they think breaking unbeaten record is so big and very interesting for such team. And the Blazers pulled the handbrake to, that is the city's of course driving well and see that they got themselves in the 2023-2024 netball of course the National Basketball League campaign. So we're waiting to see how this would be, but of course all in all you would see that things still keep pushing every day. And now let's switch away from there and look into one of the biggest talking points. When was the last time that you heard about woodball? Woodball. The last time I attended a woodball training was at the golf grounds here, and that was when Mooney University partnered up with the Woodball Federation. I still have my certificate for that, that we attended, and coverage and the rest are probably the training session in there. But now reports have it that they are coming up and they have lined up an exciting lineup or menu for, that is, the games to start, and this is going to be one of the biggest one. By 3rd, which is tomorrow, they will be having a occasion and leagues are starting right there. How good is that, and what can they do? What should we do as of course the up-country people? How do we get these chances and opportunities to also play woodball?
Woodball, I think, is one game that has literally been isolated. I don't know if isolated or rejected in West Nile. West Nile has a couple of sporting activities or games that we have here, but then there are also those that actually we don't have here. People bring them in, but then they get to sink and just die a natural death like that, because I think people don't come out freely to embrace them. So basically, our people here, I even don't see anyone benefiting from there is of a woodball games that are to kickstart time around tomorrow, or but something like that. But then the lineup is quite a very interesting one, and woodball. Woodball, I think woodball should really, you people attended the training that you just said, it should be something that if any other stakeholder is out there, should be something that could be introduced in West Nile for the second time, I should say, and see if the natives can come through and of course embrace it. So basically leaving the West Nile aside, the West Nile bit of it aside, that of course I don't see us benefiting from the games coming up front. I think talking about the lineup, it's quite a very good one that they get to, of course, go in for these games, because the woodball is also one game that Uganda has literally always performed so well in it. There are teams in Kampala of children that actually take part in woodball, and they have always been crowned champions here and there. So
there is something. Woodball is always from schools. People, of course, I don't know what is wrong with our schools here, because this is where it's supposed to. But again, woodball does not need big space to play it, because it's not a very big thing. And then too, I think schools should start embracing this, putting it in their curriculums, maybe for the sports, and see how this moves on. That's when you will understand. We need to see people starting hockey here. People wanted to do things, but still it was not working. Do we say maybe the spaces are not enough? Because also that's another thing. But to me, it doesn't need a big space. Anybody to play wood ball right there. But a couple of activities were endorsed on 16th of February, and that is the annual general meeting or general assembly that went on right there. And one of them is the range from capacity building, the clinics, and then you have workshops and retreats, domestic competitions to the international championships are some of the things. Can they extend such activities up to the lower or the upcountry team places, so that people can know that this is how it is supposed to be done, this is how woodball is to be played? Those are some of the things. Because if really money is put and invested, what is the outcome? They should come and lecture and of course tell people what exactly this is. So it's one of the biggest thing that I would really want to say, but it's one big thing that is coming about woodball right there. Now, leaving that there, we did also see in of course, in the golf world, we have our golfers here. We did see the president being elected by the names of Jackson Were, who has, of course, taken charge of, that is the boxing, the golf union. He's the new, and he has gotten his cabinet that he's going to be working with right there. Let's look at him as being the man on your screen is the man currently in charge of course, the golf in there. Do we see him improve the status of golf in this country is one thing that we need to know, because we ever since we've been following golf, we will see that there are different games and of course activities that have been happening in the world of golf. Now this is the time that we also need to know what exactly is coming to put in there. But restructuring leaders in the golf world, what will it bring to this? Because to me, as an organized entity, you will always need change over leadership every time here and there, in case the rest you feel maybe following the constitution of the company. Now this is the new man. What exactly do you know much about? What exactly shall change? Do you think it will bring light into the team of all the golfers that are there, the golf unions, the golf clubs that have been right there? Because one, we've seen the previous one improved a lot into the golf.
Dr. Jackson Were, the one that actually we're seeing on the screens, is one key person that actually has been doing golf, or started golf quite a number of years ago, and he has been there. So basically, they think they normally do elections as to bring in new leaders, and he was brought into office recently in there is the club union conference down there, where he was ushered in and sworn in as the new president of golf. Literally, I think he will pick on from there is the previous leaders that actually, just like you said, have improved in there is the golf. We've seen in the previous years, we've actually, I think the leaders have been dormant and undermanned. We've never seen golfers traveling, even I should take a case in point down to north, and I know if I want to use the Arua city as there is a very key example. But this time around, over the years, we have seen competitions happening at a golf course, Arua City Golf Course down here, and we've seen quite a number of teams representing down from Kampala and all that. And I think all of the head is down in Kampala that now the leadership sits under. There is a Dr. Were Jackson, and literally I think what he actually needs to do is that the leader that he is replacing did quite a number of good work, so he just needs to step in and follow in suit with, of course, the footsteps of his predecessor that he is replacing. Otherwise, the golfing union is quite doing well for me.
Okay, let's wait and see what exactly that looks like and how exactly it will change. But it's one big thing that is happening right now as we talk, because the golfers have really improved. We've seen even the golf reaching up to the lower route right there, and that is one big thing we shall be expecting right there. Leaving golf there, let's get to hockey. I know very many people don't follow hockey. Maybe others do follow the hockey world. But in hockey, there's also a big story that is happening right now. Now, we did see the Uganda Hockey Association, who are set to have their AGM meeting probably to see that they plan for the games in there. I just talked about hockey in Arua sometime back, where I don't know where it has reached, where it is going to. But this is one big thing that we are talking about. AGM is coming. Do we have representatives in Arua?
But do we have the hockey in Arua?
I don't know.
Where would the representatives come from? What would they be representing? Because we don't have a club here.
All right, but I just wanted to notify you that Uganda Hockey Association has that, and we shall be waiting to see what exactly will be coming right there. Now, yesterday, Uganda's one of the athletes made Uganda proud. I'm talking about Halima Nakai, who, of course, has made it through to one of the biggest races. She has always performed well at the 800 meters. The COP runner is one of the biggest names you should be talking about. This is in a competition called the 2024 World Indoor Championship that she went and participated in. And of course, she is one of Uganda's biggest athlete who has been so big. And this, she blazed a very, very good run and pushed Uganda into this. Now, that means when she's in the semi-finals, Uganda is in the semi-finals. Halima Nakai, she looks to be the only lady of late dominating, making names in that is the athletics world.
In the 800 meter steeplechase, of course, that is where she makes a name. There is Halima Nakai. But when it comes to the other areas or the other runs over the different categories, we'll basically get to hear a lot of different names, even those that come from West Nile and all that. So basically, Halima going through there is the semi-finals to represent. There is Uganda in the 800 meter race. Is quite a very good one for her.
She came first in, that is the heat 5, with of course with an impressive timing, by the way, of 2 hours and 2 minutes, as of course 42 seconds. That was awesome for her, probably bringing or pushing it right there. That is one big one. Now Nakai will of course now aim at that is outpace. To outpace our competitors. Talk about different names that have come in there, including the Great Britain's lady Gemma Reki, who has been, I remember she won last time. She was the name in there. And then you see that she is, of course, the Heat 3 currently hold the topest spots amongst, of course, all the heats in that is the category at the competition. So we are going to see her getting into that is the Heat 3 and see whether she can make it through to that is the next level. We're getting off from there and crossing over internationally and seeing what exactly will be coming right there now. Today, the English Premier League returns, the Bundesliga returns, but of course, we want to talk muchly about the English Premier League because there are a couple of interesting fixtures right there. Today, we have Brighton Hove Albion that is in action against Fulham, 6 exactly. You have Everton against West Ham. That is also another action at 6. Then Brentford taking on Chelsea at 6. Will Chelsea survive is the question. Newcastle Wolves. Wolves has been good. Newcastle wants to fire a coach because he is not doing well. Nottingham Forest in the Forest will be welcoming Jurgen Klopp's rejuvenated but a lot of injuries in the team. For Liverpool, you have Tottenham Hotspur taking on Crystal Palace and at 8:30 Luton Town will be welcoming team of course of Aston Villa at exactly 8:30. Now those are some of the games in their standard. La Liga has also games which I will be giving you right there, but let's start with the Chelsea game with Brentford. All the games at 6 p.m.
Brentford and Chelsea. Chelsea over the time is actually sinking them more, and I thought first of all they are not inconsistent because you literally see them winning in games and then losing and all that, but this time around Brentford might even come up and beat Chelsea. And then another big game to me, it's not even quite big. I am Newcastle and Wolves. These are all teams that are very slippery, and they will all be fighting to see that actually they get wins. And then Nottingham Forest up on Liverpool. I really see Liverpool going past Nottingham Forest. Liverpool these days is a threat to every other team that actually they are playing.
Community Stadium is where the games will be in. That is the team of between the team of Brentford and Chelsea. We shall be seeing what the Forests can do right there. As Fulham against Brighton is another game I would love to see because the two sides are very, very good. Last week we did see Wolves playing good against Brighton and Hove Albion. And if you look at how the tables are standing, you would see that, of course, the two sides will want to fight for spot on where exactly they really need to be. Now, let's look at where the two are. Brentford is, Brighton is at number 7 and Fulham is at number 12. So that shows you the level of how tense the game will be. 23 and 29 points respectively, Fulham and Brighton and Hove Albion. So Brighton knows winning this will take them to 40, of course, around 42 points, close to United. And you will see Fulham also wanting to run away from the mid-table and make sure that things work out rightly for them. So those are the encounters that are coming right here. You have team Newcastle that will be against Wolverhampton. The head-to-head shows you that the two sides have been a very good side. 6 wins for Newcastle, 4 for that is team Wolverhampton, one that has 9 draws that they have played in right there. The last game was that ended 2-2 between the two sides at the home of Wolves. Now Wolves goes to Newcastle. Tough encounter probably to talk about right there, and this is number 10 versus number 9. Wolves sits 9th on the log, and 10th is Newcastle United. Susie, 11 wins for each side in their previous games. But of course, you would see that these teams are looking into very, very big. Biggest goal margin has been 8 when Newcastle beat team as Sheffield United. But of course, for that is Wolves when they beat the Bees as 4-1 was their biggest number. How many goals would you expect in today's encounter?
Not a lot, not a lot. Because if you look at the both sides, just like you've done the comparisons, to me, they are both at the same level. No team is actually better than the other in all aspects. And if you look at the head-on-head, their head-to-head previous stats and all that, this is going to be a very tough one. I am actually not expecting a lot of goals. I am seeing a draw here.
Now, in the Spanish La Liga, there's another interesting encounter between Real Madrid, the top tier, of course, the best team in the world, fighting against Valencia, who are sitting 9th on the log. But this game will be today, and Real Madrid will be looking for the 68th minute of the league right there. And that game will be at 11 p.m. And you have Getafe taking on Las Palmas, whereas you'll be having Rayo Vallecano taking on Cadiz, and the team of Sevilla taking on Real Sociedad in the Spanish La Liga. Now, Sociedad has been a good side. Sevilla has equally been a good side. If you look at the table standings of the La Liga, you will see Real Sociedad sitting 7th and Sevilla being 15th. So 2 teams away from that is getting relegated right there. A very, very big one probably to talk about. In the Italian Serie A, you have games, whereas Udinese will be taking on Salernitana, and you have Monza taking on Roma, as Torino welcomes Fiorentina. In the Bundesliga, you have, of course, Bochum taking on RB Leipzig, whereas the team Darmstadt taking on Augsburg. What about Heidenheim taking on Frankfurt? Mainz takes on Mönchengladbach, and Union Berlin taking on Borussia Dortmund. Wolfsburg will be welcoming Stuttgart, and those are some of the games. French League 1 has Reims taking on Lille, and Clermont Foot will be taking on Marseille right there. Those are some of the big games you could be expecting, but for that is tomorrow you have a big encounter, Super Sunday. But you'll also have Burnley starting it with Bournemouth at 4 p.m. as 6:30 Manchester United will be traveling to Etihad Stadium to play it against Manchester City. Now, that's also another game we shall be discussing on right here today, and this is where I want us to turn focus to. In your own assessment, in your own team looks of the 2 teams, Manchester United, you have of course Man City. Where do you give this to? Man U travels to Etihad.
Man U traveling to Etihad, it's first of all, it's going to be a very tough one for there is a Manchester United. With the injury list that actually they have, I don't see any other person return yet or being cleared from there is the injury. We had a lot. We had Hoyland, we had Luke Shaw, and the rest, about 4 or 5 people that are out injured that actually missed in the recent games that Manchester United had. And this time around, Manchester United traveling to there is Etihad to face there is a Manchester City. I think for Manchester City, the biggest, there is the Bruno and the Haaland and the rest are all okay, fit, ready to, of course, come through and take on tomorrow. There is Manchester United. It's going to be a very tough one for Manchester United to actually even pick 1 point at there is Etihad, the home of Manchester City.
Now, of course, the team is show after yesterday's press conferences from the 2 sides. Of course, Pep Guardiola said his boys are very fit, apart from the man by the names of Jack Grealish, who is going to be ruled out for this game after getting, of course, a groin injury in the FA Cup that they played against Luton and won it. Of course, Josko Giovaldo will be in that is nearing. Of course, he's coming back, but of course, a lot of things. But for Erik ten Hag, he said he has nobody coming back into that is the action yet again. He will be moving with the same players right there. Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Varane, both completed Wednesday's win. Remember, at Nottingham Forest, despite fitness issues, and of course, again, expected to be available for the game for Manchester United. Remember, United suffered a 2-1 defeat at the home against Fulham last weekend, making it their previous 5 game losing once to Fulham, of course, India, and breaking their record probably that they wanted to set of not being beaten in 2024, and that is one big thing. Now, of course, if you look at the two sides or the head-to-head, Manchester City looks to be on point, as City has won 5 of their past 6 games in all competition against, of course, Manchester United, with the exception of the 2-1 league win at Old Trafford last season. If you look at City, they are vying for that is the 6th Premier League double against, of course, United, if they are to do that, which of course would be more than of course any other side. So we are looking to see how that will be. City are also pushing very, very hard to see that they really get themselves in there, and the City are unbeaten in 25 home matches in all competitions, 30 wins and 5 draws, shows you how exactly the teams are going to be. So we're expecting a big one, and KDB is one key element you should talk about. Kevin De Bruyne is 2 goals away from that is hitting 100 for Manchester City in all competition, and he has been a threat to Manchester United every time he keeps pushing it right there. So watch out for him in this game. And Rodri, of course, is also unbeaten in 58 appearances for that is City in the League Cup since 1-0 win Premier League that has come in there. It shows the advantage, the upper hand of Manchester City. But of course, City and United is a big derby that we shall be expecting.
Something about Grealish?
Yes, he's not going to be into the game according to Pep Guardiola, but we are waiting to see whether he will, because very many times coaches say things in press conference and they don't. So coach said he's not available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suspension or a card?
No, he has a groin injury. Of course, he will not be able to play for the team. So Ten Hag, for him, his side has won 6 of their past 7 games. We are waiting to see what exactly comes, and scoring has been a very big challenge ever since Erling, of course, I mean the man Rasmus Haaland got injured. So we are waiting to see what exactly will be there. Question to you as we wrap up, and you're going to wrap up with this: is Graham Potter the right man for Manchester United?
Graham Potter, I really didn't see him achieve a lot during the time he crossed actually to the result Chelsea. So this time around, I think Manchester United just has to have some little bit of trust there is in Ten Hag, although he is not delivering. A lot of people say he game reading is not his thing and all that, but he's also struggling. People just need to understand that. I really don't see Graham Potter as a perfect replacement for there is a Ten Hag.
Okay, it's a very big one. Monday discussion probably to talk about whether Graham Potter will be the right man, because from Brighton to there he was fired, and we are going to be seeing what exactly he could be doing for the team.
Someone wants the injury list at Onduparaka. Adrico Godfrey on us on Facebook.
Yeah, you should say, of course, there's no injury concern right there with Onduparaka, just that names will be added. So